Night arrived quietly on Earth. The sky over several cities was calm, and people moved through their usual routines. No one knew that everything would change within minutes. Far above the clouds, something massive moved through the dark. Strange lights flashed, silent at first, then growing brighter. A few people looked up, confused, thinking it was only another airplane or maybe a passing satellite. But the lights did not move like anything human made. At the same moment, thousands of light years away, a huge chamber shook with fear. This was not a human chamber. This was the meeting hall of the Galactic Council, the most powerful gathering of alien leaders in the known galaxy. The walls glowed blue with energy. Long tables made of crystal stretched across the room. Leaders from dozens of species sat with their heads low. Whispering nervously, a tall council guard stepped forward and announced loudly, "The urgent report has arrived." Doors opened, and a messenger walked in quickly. His hands trembled. His voice cracked when he spoke. "The Vorok Dominion has launched a full invasion fleet," he said. "Their target is Earth." The room went absolutely silent. Some leaders gasped. Others closed their eyes. A few even stood up in shock. Earth was a name no one wanted to hear in a sentence like that. The council speaker, an older alien with silver markings on his face, leaned forward. "Are you certain?" he asked in a slow, heavy voice. "Yes," the messenger replied. "The Vorok deployed over 3,000 warships. They plan to conquer Earth within 1 day." Ah! A painful, worried sound filled the hall. Several council members began whispering urgently. One of them spoke loudly. "This is madness. Total madness." Another slammed his fist on the table. "The Vorok believe humans are weak. They think Earth is still a primitive world." The speaker shook his head slowly. "They know nothing. They do not understand what Earth truly is." Back on Earth, the strange lights grew brighter. People recorded videos on their phones, pointing at the sky as the clouds seemed to split open. Something metallic pushed through the atmosphere, huge dark shapes, triangular and curved, moving like giant shadows. Inside a radar station near the coast, alarms suddenly exploded with noise. Several operators dropped their coffee. A young technician stared at the screen with wide eyes and shouted, "Multiple contacts. Hundreds. No. Thousands. They're entering the atmosphere fast." His supervisor grabbed the microphone. "Send a global alert now." Across the world, military bases lit up with flashing red lights. Soldiers ran into bunkers. Fighter jets prepared for launch. Satellites spun in space, tracking the unknown ships. The world changed in seconds, but the Vorok invasion commander believed he was safe. In his huge warship, he smiled confidently. His fleet sailed through the sky like giant mechanical beasts. He expected Earth to break instantly. His mind was full of pride. He believed he would crush this planet with no effort. He imagined standing on human soil as a conqueror. He did not know the truth. Inside the Galactic Council chamber, the speaker continued speaking with a tired, warning tone. "Humans are not weak. Humans come from a death world. Their planet shaped them into survivors. They adapt faster than any species. They fight with a strength that grows under pressure." Another leader added, "Every invasion against them has failed. Every enemy who thought Earth was an easy target died." A deep fear spread through the room. They all knew the stories of past alien groups who tried to attack Earth and never returned. One council member whispered, "Does the Vorok have any idea what they are walking into?" "No," the speaker answered, "and that ignorance will destroy them." Back on Earth, people still stared at the sky, trying to understand what was happening. Some felt fear. Some felt confusion. Some felt excitement. But none of them knew that thousands of alien soldiers were preparing to attack their home. A few children pointed at the sky and shouted, "Look, a falling star." But the star was no star. It was the first Vorok dropship entering the atmosphere, burning bright as it fell. More followed behind it, like a rain of metal fire. The Vorok commander spoke proudly into his communicator. "Begin Phase 1. Take the planet within the hour." His voice showed no doubt. He believed he would win. In the council chamber, several leaders watched the invasion through holograms. Their eyes widened as they saw the Vorak ships descend over Earth's atmosphere. "They do not fear humans," one council elder whispered. The speaker replied quietly, "But they will." Dark clouds rolled across Earth as the Vorak ships spread across the sky. The invasion had begun. Humanity still did not understand the scale of the threat above them, but they were minutes away from discovering the truth. The first Vorak energy beams prepared to fire. The alien soldiers stood ready in their drop pods. The commander counted down to the attack, but deep under Earth's crust, hidden systems activated for the first time in decades. Defense platforms moved into position, massive railguns charged with blue light, satellites spun toward their targets. Humanity had always been underestimated, and now the galaxy would watch what happened when an invader made the biggest mistake possible. They chose Earth. The part ends with this final moment. The Vorak commander raises his hand and orders, "Fire," and the Galactic Council whispers in fear, "They are already dead." The first attack hit Earth with a thunderous flash. The Vorak commander watched proudly as his fleet fired powerful energy beams toward human military bases, communication towers, and large cities. He expected everything to fall silent within seconds. He imagined the fear on human faces. He imagined easy victory. But something unexpected happened. Nothing collapsed. Instead, Earth reacted across the planet. Hundreds of hidden defense systems activated together. In a desert far from any city, a huge metal platform rose from the sand, glowing bright blue. In the frozen mountains, a massive cannon emerged from beneath layers of ice. In the ocean, several submarines surfaced with missile tubes ready. Humans had prepared for a threat like this long ago. Inside the Galactic Council chamber, the hologram screens showed Earth's sudden response. Many council members gasped. Some covered their mouths. A few whispered prayers in fear of what would follow. One council elder, with large silver eyes, murmured, "Here it begins. The humans wake up." Back in Earth's orbit, the Vorak commander stared at his screens. His beams had hit their targets, yet explosions were smaller than expected. Earth cities still stood. The power grids remained active. Worst of all, humans were already firing back. Dozens of human missiles launched from multiple continents, rising like angry flames into the sky. They left long trails of smoke behind them as they shot toward the alien ships. The Vorak commander frowned. They respond too quickly. Impossible. His officers shouted warnings. "Commander. Incoming projectiles. Shields at 60%. More launches detected from the northern hemisphere." One officer trembled as he spoke. "Humans. Humans are adapting instantly," the commander growled. "Increase shield strength and destroy their missiles." But by the time he finished the sentence, several missiles had already reached the Vorak ships. They did not explode on contact. Instead, they attached themselves to the hull like metal insects. Then dash boom. A chain of blue-white explosions shook 3 Vorak warships. The ships bent, cracked, and then burst into flaming pieces. Falling debris rained through the clouds, leaving long black trails behind them. On the Galactic Council screens, several council members stood up in fear. They lost ships already, but they just started. Another leaned forward and whispered, "Yes, this is how humans fight." Meanwhile, on the ground, human forces moved with incredible speed. Fighter jets took off from runways, engines roaring louder than thunder. Armored vehicles rolled out of bases. Soldiers prepared with fast discipline. Civilians took shelter. But even they moved with unusual calm. Humans were scared, but they were ready. In a forest near a small town, human special forces team received orders. Their commander, a steady man with sharp eyes, stood before his group. "Listen," he said. "We do not know who these invaders are, but they picked the wrong planet. Our job is simple: defend and strike back. No fear, no hesitation." His team nodded. Their movements showed confidence, not panic. Above them, more Vorak dropships broke through the clouds. They looked like giant metal arrows falling from the sky. The ground shook when they crashed into fields and roads. Dozens of Vorak soldiers marched out of the dropships. Their armor was dark and heavy. Their weapons glowed red with power. They had trained for years to conquer planets. They believed humans would scream and run. But instead, they faced something else. The human special forces team opened fire with precise aim. Their bullets and rockets did not stop. They moved like shadows, fast and controlled. The Vorak soldiers were shocked. They had expected chaos. Instead, they found organized resistance. The Vorak captain shouted, "Humans are too aggressive. Fall back." But it was too late. The humans pushed forward, their teamwork perfect. The Vorak soldiers started to panic. Their lines broke. Their formation collapsed. Some tried to retreat, but humans chased them down. Back in orbit, the Vorak commander received the ground report. His eyes widened. "Humans are defeating our troops." "How?" "We outnumber them." His officer answered softly, almost whispering, "Commander, humans do not fear death the way other species do. They fight like something wild." The commander slammed his hand on the control panel. "Send reinforcements." But even reinforcements were not enough. Earth's military strength was rising every minute. New units joined the defense. Satellites coordinated attacks. Drones flew through the sky, mapping enemy locations. Railguns on mountains fired long streaks of energy upward, hitting alien ships with terrifying accuracy. Inside the Galactic Council chamber, the speaker watched everything with sad eyes. "They warned the galaxy before," he said quietly. No one listened. Another council member whispered, "Now the Vorak pay the price." The council did not celebrate. They were not happy to see Earth fight. They were terrified. They knew what humans were capable of when pushed into a corner. On Earth, a huge explosion shook the clouds. A Vorak battleship, one of their strongest, broke apart in orbit. Fire spread across its hull. Human fighters surrounded it like fast insects, cutting it down piece by piece. The Vorak commander stared at the screen, unable to speak. Fear drained the color from his face. How can this be happening?" he whispered. His officer answered, voice shaking, "Commander, this invasion, it is not a battle. It is a mistake." The council elder, watching from afar, spoke the truth. Humans are a death world species. When they fight, they do not break. They evolve. Back on Earth, the humans prepared for their next move. Their jets circled the sky. Their soldiers advanced. Their weapons glowed with new power. The entire planet felt like it was waking up, fully ready to defend itself with everything it had. And for the first time, the Vorak commander felt something he had never felt before. Fear, a deep cold. Growing fear, because he finally realized the truth. The council had been right. Invading Earth was not courage. It was suicide. The Vorak commander stood frozen in the center of his warship. The screens around him showed destruction everywhere. His fleet, once proud and powerful, now looked broken and scattered. Dozens of ships burned in Earth's orbit. Others fell from the sky like dying stars. Human missiles, jets, and railgun blasts struck again and again. The commander could not understand it. He had led victories on many planets, crushed many civilizations. But here on Earth, every strategy failed. Every calculation broke. Every attack collapsed. He whispered, barely able to speak, "What? Are humans?" No one answered. Inside the Galactic Council chamber, the alien leaders watched silently. Even from thousands of light years away, fear filled the room. The council members had seen wars across the galaxy, but nothing like this. One council elder said slowly, "This is why we feared Earth. This is why we warned them." Another replied, "The Vorak have awakened something they cannot stop." Back on Earth, the skies glowed bright with fire and streaks of light. Human jets moved with wild speed, flying between alien warships without hesitation. Their pilots shouted orders, their breathing calm, their focus sharp. They were not fighting to win glory. They were fighting to survive, to protect their home. A human pilot called out, "Target the heavy cruiser. Follow my lead." 3 jets dove together, weaving through enemy fire. They fired in perfect timing, hitting the cruiser's weak point. The ship exploded in a huge ball of flame that lit up the clouds. On the ground, human armored units pushed back the Vorak forces. Tanks rolled through destroyed roads, firing powerful shells that shattered alien armor. Human infantry teams moved like a single living machine, covering each other. Advancing together, never breaking, the Vorak soldiers panicked, their faces twisted with fear. They had never seen such aggression from a primitive species. A Vorak officer cried out, "We must retreat." Humans do not stop. They do not surrender. And he was right. The humans advanced without slowing down. They learned fast. They adapted faster. Every minute, they grew more dangerous. The Vorak commander watched the ground war with shaking hands. His heart pounded in his chest. "Why are my soldiers falling back?" he shouted. No one answered him. Most of his officers avoided his gaze. Some were gone, killed by explosions or thrown away by the ship's violent shaking. Then a sudden alarm rang. Warning, human counterattack. Detected. The commander turned sharply toward the main screen. What he saw made his breath stop. From Earth's orbit, something massive moved out of the shadow of the planet. It was a huge metallic structure, longer than a city, covered in armor, glowing with energy. A human superweapon. The Galactic Council recognized it instantly. They whispered in fear. The Earth's orbital cannon. They activated it. A blast of blue light began gathering at the weapon's tip. The energy field hummed loudly, shaking its surroundings. The Vorak commander stared helplessly. No, this cannot be real. Inside the human control station, an operator spoke calmly into the microphone. Charging complete. Target locked. Another operator nodded. Fire? The cannon released a blinding beam of energy. It tore through space like a spear. The beam hit the Vorak flagship, the commander's ship, dead center. For a moment, everything was silent. Then the flagship exploded. The commander's body was thrown back. Sparks flew across the room. Panels broke. Flames spread quickly. His officer screamed as the entire warship was ripped apart before the explosion consumed him. The commander whispered a final, fearful truth. Earth is a monster. Pieces of the flagship scattered across the sky. Fire lit up the horizon. More human missiles followed, hitting the remaining Vorak ships one by one. The invasion fleet collapsed like a dying storm. Within hours, Vorak Dominion had lost almost everything. Every warship destroyed. Every ground unit defeated. Every fighter shot down. Earth stood strong. Stronger than anyone expected. Inside the Galactic Council chamber, the leaders sat in silence. Some trembled. Others lowered their heads. The speaker finally spoke. Let this be recorded. Earth is to be marked as a forbidden world. No species is allowed to invade it, threaten it, or approach it without permission. Another council member whispered. The Vorak learned the truth too late, the speaker quietly said. Yes, ... Humanity is the last enemy anyone should ever choose. Back on Earth, the humans continued working. Emergency crews rushed across cities. Soldiers carried injured civilians to safety. Pilots landed their jets, exhausted but alive. Families hugged each other tightly. The planet had suffered damage, but it had survived. More importantly, it had won. On a military base rooftop, a young soldier looked up at the sky. Watching the last pieces of alien metal burn as they fell through the atmosphere, he whispered to himself. They thought we were weak. Another soldier beside him laughed softly. Everyone thinks that, until they meet us. The sun slowly rose, painting the sky gold. The world looked peaceful again. Even after the greatest invasion in Earth's history, but in space, across the galaxy, fear began to spread. Word traveled fast. Earth defeated an entire invasion fleet. alone, without help. Without mercy, alien species who once saw humans as harmless now spoke, their name with caution. Whispers filled distant star systems. Do not attack Earth. Do not anger humans. They are a death world species. And somewhere in the quiet rooms of the Galactic Council, the speaker made one final statement for the official record. The Vorak did not lose because Earth was strong. They lost because they believed humans were weak.